Hi my fellow foreign English speakers, how are you getting on? Are you well? I hope you're doing just fine, and today you'll find out how to describe the abstract concept of getting some impression, right? So you want to say to someone, you want to tell them that you're getting the impression. So what's the proper way of putting that abstract concept into English words? So here's the proper way. I'm under the impression that. So I'm under the impression. That's today's English idiomatic expression. And stay with me for a few more minutes to find out more about this phrase. Hi guys, and welcome back. I'm Robbie from EnglishHarmony.com. This is my blog EasyIdioms.com, which is all dedicated to such and similar English idiomatic expressions. So today's phrase is under the impression. And it's just a way native English speakers refer to the fact that someone is having an impression that something is happening. So they don't say, I have an impression that, they say, I'm under the impression. And most commonly, this expression is used when you're telling someone, you're giving someone an excuse. You're explaining them the situation, why you thought differently or why you acted differently. So basically, you're beginning your story by telling, I'm sorry, but I was under the impression that, and then you follow it by the explanation that you were under the impression that something is happening a certain way, and that's why you acted a certain way. And here's a typical example, right? So, it's a Friday morning, you're coming to work, and your boss confronts you right at the door, and he asks you, why didn't you send out that order? I asked you to send it out on Thursday. And then you tell him, listen, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, but I was under the impression that the order had to be sent out today, Friday, because our secretary mentioned something about Friday, and I just assumed. And obviously I'm wrong, it's my fault, it's my mistake, it's not a valid excuse, I'm just telling you. Please understand my position too. I was under the impression that the order had to be sent out today, right? Not Thursday. And let me think of another example. I'm just going to brainstorm something quickly. That's what I do. That's what I'm known for, because all these videos are 100% improvisations. I don't stage anything. I'm just playing it by ear, which means I'm just I'm just winging it, which is an American phrase meaning that I'm just improvising, you know. I speak as I go along, I speak whatever pops up in my mind, and now I'm just going to take a sip of water, excuse me for a second. I'm still a bit unwell. You see, I was sick for a few days. I was under the weather, to say the least. You know, it's an English idiom meaning that someone is unwell. When they're under the weather, they're unwell. And now I'm in the process of recovery. Still, my mouth is feeling a bit strange, so I need some water constantly the whole time to keep me going, you know, to keep my sound-producing organs function properly, so to speak, right? So let me brainstorm another example of the English idiomatic expression, under the impression. Some of you guys might be under the impression that I have loads of free time, that I'm just lazing around and just making these videos as I see fit, while in the reality it's completely different, you know. I'm on a very tight schedule. I have a 9-to-5 job, and I have my blogs, and I have a lot of content to be created, right? All these articles and videos, and I actually have a very tight schedule, and every video I make, every article I write is happening according to my schedule, and it's not like I have nothing better to do, so I'm just writing my articles and creating these videos, you know. So you might be under the impression that I have time to spare, while in the reality it's completely the opposite way. I have all my time pretty much assigned to different things that I have to do around the house, on my blogs, and I also have to go to my 9-to-5 job. So this was the third example. You might be under the impression that something is happening, and I'm providing you with the real picture. Basically, I'm painting a true picture of what's happening, right? And let me think. The third example, you probably noticed, guys, that there's daylight streaming through the window now, right? It's not the normal setting. Normally, I would have 2 lamps on, but it's daytime and it's quite bright outside. So I just thought, why not take advantage of the fact that I have normal daylight coming through the windows? It doesn't make the ideal conditions for recording videos, and some of you guys might have very high standards, and I will probably receive a couple comments saying, why did you, Robbie, not turn the lights on? And because the lighting conditions are not optimal to make the best videos, right? But I don't really care, and I think you're the same, guys. If you're anything serious about your English fluency improvement, you won't mind the different lighting conditions, which vary from one video to another. And if you're under the impression that I'm changing my video recording location from time to time, then you're actually right. So this time around, I used this expression under the impression in a positive statement. Previously, it was all to describe that you were wrong, you know. I was under the impression that something else was different, but in reality it turns out not to be the case, and so on and so forth. But now I'm telling you, yes, you were under the impression that I'm changing my video recording location every so often, and you're 100% right, my friends. You're in the right. I moved house recently. This is my brand new house. This is my own house. To be honest with you guys, this is the first time I applied for a mortgage and I got it, and I'm happy. I'm over the moon, and I'm still working on little bits and pieces around the house, and this is my new video studio. And if you're under the impression that conditions change the whole time, you're right. This is probably 5th or 6th video only in this new studio. But the truth is, my friends, this is going to be a permanent location for me for the years to come. So this particular room is not going to change. What might change is my looks, my shirts, my haircut, the video background and whatnot, but all the other things are going to remain just as they are, as you see them now, right? But basically there's nothing else you're seeing, just me and the background, so I'm not really making sense, but I'm just talking, I'm talking, and you might be under the impression that I'm totally mad, that I'm a lunatic, that I'm just speaking with myself the whole time, but that's the whole point, my friends. In order to improve your fluency, you gotta be speaking all the time. That's the key, and you better be sure to use this idiomatic expression under the impression next time around when the word impression has to be used, right? So basically, create this association in your brain under the impression, and then whenever you have to use the word impression, it will automatically trigger the whole phrase come out of your mouth. Obviously, there are other collocations with the word impression, such as to get the impression, right? So if you learn them all at once, it might create a confusion. Get the impression, under the impression. If you learn these 2 phrases, for instance, together, right? Next time around, when you have to use one of them, you might hesitate a little. So that's why I don't advise learning a number of phrases, expressions, and your words at once, you know. Just take one at a time, you know, one thing at a time. That's the rule of thumb, which means that's the rule. That's what you have to do, right? So, under the impression, this new phrase, has to be added on to your active vocabulary if you're really serious about your fluency improvement, my friends. Thanks for watching and talk to you soon again. Bye-bye.